Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KidBadger.com, here to bring you a little how-to. And today we're talking about stippling, whether it is your pistol or some other type of polymer. Taking a step back to the why, usually fall in two different camps. Why are we stippling something? One, we either want to add texture to it, so no matter the environment, no matter if my hands are wet, slick with some sort of fluid, blood, something else, whether I'm wearing gloves, no matter what, I have good purchase, I can manipulate a weapon system or some component of a weapon system. Or the second camp, because it looks cool, or a combination of those two. And if you want to do it because it looks cool, do it because it looks cool. Totally fine. But we're going to jump into stippling. So what's the equipment we need? Well, probably going to need something to stipple with. Wood burner I found is to be the best just because it's going to usually come with some different tips, which is going to essentially open the door to a bunch of different patterns depending on what you want to do. When it comes to stippling, especially a pistol frame, people are like, oh shit, I don't want to wreck this thing. So how do we practice? Find another polymer. What I like to use is just a PMag because I have a bunch of them. They're relatively cheap. And when you're stippling them, you're not going to wreck them. And ultimately, this is going to be kind of a test board for different patterns for us. A pattern that people like a lot is just a series of dots. And while this tip isn't the best for it, I can go through here. And while incredibly tedious, I'll show you the final product. And while most certainly tedious, takes a while, it does come out. Sky's the limit though, and I encourage you, especially with a tip like this, to just try all kinds of different patterning. Like right here, I'm basically going to push in at an angle and just create a row deforming this polymer as I go.
My girl likes to drink whiskey, my girl likes to drink wine, my girl likes to drink beer, scotch, bourbon, and moonshine. Yes, I love my baby.
Again, totally up to you, just a different type of pattern. If I want to also, I can effectively use basically the flat of this blade and push material laterally along the entire length of it.
She's drunk all the time. When the night is early, she's drinking out of a glass. As the night progresses, she's drinking out of her flask. My friends say I'm crazy.
This method most certainly goes a lot quicker because I'm using a lot more surface. We can also basically do some cross hatching too. So I'm going to use the same technique I just did, but then I'm going to come back the other direction when I finish.
My girl likes to drink whiskey, my girl likes to drink wine, my girl likes to drink beer, scotch.
You're like, hey, don't really care for that. You can of course do it on a different axis too.
Yes, I love my baby, but she's drunk all the time.
Again, just really depends on what you're looking for. At this point, kind of got our feet wet, tried a bunch of different patterns. Now you're like, okay, which one do I want to use? Whichever one you want, but before you make that decision, unless it's strictly aesthetics, go ahead and feel these different patterns. They're all going to have different aggressivenesses to them. And again, depending on what you're looking for, whether it's aesthetic or functional or a combination of those two, that's going to end up determining it. Also, be aware of what you're putting this on. This is going to be on a rifle grip. I'll probably want something really aggressive. Conversely, if this is going to be a concealed carry pistol, probably don't want anything too aggressive that's always going to be grabbing fabric, tearing at my cover garment, or anything like that. Of these patterns that I played around with, I actually like the aggressiveness of this one right here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, on this grip right here, I'm going to go ahead and texture this whole front part of the grip. Now, if I want to, I can use masking tape or something along those lines to go ahead and mask off where I don't want stippled. Or, depending on what you want to do, you can just take this, go ahead and just burn a line, ideally straight, depending on what you want, straight down the side of your grip. Turn it over on the other side, basically kind of be my guideline. And same thing. Once I've done that, I I can just go after it and get in the stipple.
When she's high, she's high. When she's low, ain't no middle ground. Just passed out on the floor. When she wakes in the morning, all she wants is more.
Now I've added a whole nother level of functionality to this guy. And now, sky's the limit. Play around, find a pattern you like, and apply it to something. I know it seems difficult, but it's not. It's pretty easy, it just feels daunting. If, for whatever reason, you find that the texture you put on is really aggressive, too aggressive, really easy to tone it down just by using a little bit of really fine grit sandpaper. Take the edge off, no problem whatsoever. Don't be afraid of doing it, give it a try. As always, thanks for joining us at KidBadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.
My girl likes to drink wine. My girl likes to drink beer, scotch, bourbon, and moonshine. Yes, I love my baby, but she's drunk